What inspired you to write the Peacocks of Palos Verdes and Palos World?
Well, there weren't any other books, and at that time, I was taking care of my grandson who was about 3, and so we used to have these different days. One day, like on Monday, we'd go to the aquarium. Tuesday, we'd go on a peacock adventure, and I looked for books for him, and there weren't any. Wow. So I decided that I would write one, and it took me probably a year to write it, get it in rhyme and everything, and then I brought it to the librarian, Laura Henry, and asked her if there was a need for it, and she said, oh yes, people are always asking for books up here about peacocks. So then I went to the group that Kat was in. That's how Kat and I met.
A writing group up at the Peninsula Library.
Yeah, so I was in there for about a year, and then I actually, can't even remember the name of it, I queried one publishing company, and they said if you want to have it published, you need to take out Palos Verdes, and I wanted it to be the Peacocks of Palos Verdes, so I self-published it. Nice. And it sold over 4,000 copies so far.
I am not surprised.
It's a great book. It is, yeah. I was really excited that you did that book. I've always been a fan of these guys. And, you know, I think that all that mojo happened at the same time with the Wesley the Owl, and then you did the peacock thing, and then I ended up with one.
With the peacock thing.
It's not too close to these people.
Be careful what you write about.
I think I did an edit on that book, too.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you edited it for me.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't, I wanted you to publish it, you wouldn't because the pictures.
Oh yeah, our company wasn't set up for that yet,
yeah.
Yeah, it would have been $65 if we did it.
A book, yeah.
Right, if we did it.
Which kind of outpriced it.
Yeah, talk about pricing, right.
You have a lot of different facts in the Peacocks of Palos Verdes, like how peacocks first came to Palos Verdes. How much research did you do for this book?
I did a lot. I probably researched it for a year and a half, and you know, Ellen Vanderlip from the Vanderlips up on the hill, that's where the peacocks originally came to in Palos Verdes. And so I met her at the library one time when she was speaking about her furniture that's in the library, her antiques, and I asked her if I could interview her, and she said no. And so about 6 months later, I sent her a letter, and actually at that time, after that, she sent me a postcard, her own postcard, saying, contact Debbie Mott about the peacocks. She was instrumental in the lawsuit with Palos Verdes Estates, helping those peacocks. So I interviewed her, and then after that, I ran into Ellen at another library function and asked her, she had published her book. And so I went up to get her book signed and asked her if I could speak to her about the peacocks, and she said, oh sure, come over Tuesday. So I went over and interviewed her for about an hour and a half, and I was supposed to go back, and she died about 5 days later.
Oh my gosh.
But then her daughter, Narcissa, when I did the first book, we had it at the library. We had this big thing when I launched it. And Narcissa came, and Narcissa spoke about the peacocks, and she's been a great resource, you know, about the peacocks at the Vanderlip Estate and everything. And then I interviewed a lot of other people. I interviewed, you know, like the sheriff in Palos Verdes Estates, who's the one who picks them up when they stray out of their areas, and the city managers, and yeah, it was really a lot of fun.
Very cool.
So there was a lawsuit concerning
Yes,
the peacocks?
It was kind of like RPV, but we didn't have a lawsuit. It was about people wanted to trap them, and so they went to court, and what happened was that they have to keep the peacocks in 2 separate areas now. And they have to, every year or every other year, they take a census. And if it's over the number of birds that they can have in one area, they trap and relocate them.
Interesting. What made you decide to go from writing a non-fictional book for kids to a fictional story with Palos World?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of fun, you know, to what I call it faction, to because it has facts, and it really is what happens to peacocks that grow up on the hill.
That is really cool.
And thank you. So that's why I did that.
He's like in a quiet